Zach here with Finale Inventory, and today we're going to go through a quick demo of the software to give you some highlights of what's available within Finale Inventory. Of course, we are always available for customized demos to go through your specific workflows as well. Let's start off with by taking a look at Finale's home screen. We have the home screen divided into four major areas. The first three going across the top here are kind of following the life cycle of your product. So we're going to start off with purchasing, which is going to store your purchase orders as well as your supplier info and your bills against the purchase orders. Those bills can also be synced up to QuickBooks Online if you're using our QuickBooks Online integration so that you can pay them there. And we also have our reordering tool down here at the bottom. Next, we'll go over into our inventory section. This is where we store all of your stock and product data, as well as where you'll do specific functions like stock takes and changes or transfers to move stock between locations. And if you are doing any sort of light manufacturing or pre-building of kits and bundles, you can also utilize our builds feature down here at the bottom. Next is our selling section. This is where we'll store all of your sales data, your customer data, and your invoices. Again, those invoices can be synced up into QuickBooks Online. If you are connected to any sales channels or marketplaces through Finale's integrations, those sales will come into the selling section automatically, but you can also create manual sales orders directly within Finale itself. Down here on the bottom is our accounting section. You may be using this to connect your cost of goods and other data into QuickBooks Online, but Finale's accounting mechanics are built into the software. So if you're not connected to QuickBooks Online, you can also get any general ledger, journal entries, or any other accounting-based reporting directly from the system. The last section that I'll give a quick overview on is our integrations. This is simply where we'll store all of your various integrations to other software within Finale, and we'll set all those settings for you. To start off though, let's go ahead and get a few products in the system that we can go through the purchasing and selling process with. There are a number of ways we can do this. Of course, if we're connected to your selling channels, we can import that product info directly from them as part of integration. We also have our CSV import tool, which is another great way to import products. Additionally, you can use the import tool to update your products. So for instance, in our example spreadsheet here, I'm showing some basic information, a product ID, description, and category. But also have some supplier and pricing information, which you may not store in your selling channels. So this is a great way to update and add additional information, even if you are creating the products from within your selling channel. To get started, all we need to do is copy the information within our spreadsheet and go ahead and paste it into our import tool. Finale will now show all of the data, including any errors. So here we can see I have an error with my supplier. If I were to go and double check that, I'd see that screen printer is actually 2 words, so I can come and change that on my source data. We'll just make a quick change there. And we'll go ahead and recopy and repaste this. And that's how simple it is to correct any data that you may need to correct. So at this point, we'll go ahead and start our import of those 4 products. And let's go ahead and take a look at those within our stock screen. I'm going to go ahead and filter my list down to just the 4 products we created. We can see here we've got our red, blue, and black hats, as well as a hat bundle, which we'll go into in just a second, how to go ahead and get that created. But here on our stock screen, we're also showing our inventory levels, sales velocity, and product valuation. Those are all, of course, at 0 since we just created these products. But as we go through the purchase and sales processes, we'll see that data start to take shape within Finale. Let's go ahead and start off by setting up our hat bundle. Finale allows you to create kits and bundles of your products and sync that inventory across both the components and kits to your selling channels. We do have a full video on our kitting and bundling feature, so if this is of interest to you, I suggest taking a look at that as well. But we'll go ahead and set this one up real quick. For our hat bundle, we'll go ahead and just say that that is one of each of our 3 hats that we created. So we've got our red hat. We'll go ahead and also add our blue hat and our black hat. And we'll go ahead and say that this requires one of each item. And we'll save changes there. Now we've got that built out. Of course, we see that our potential build quantity is 0. So let's go ahead and create a purchase order for these 3 hats so that we can get some product in and get selling. We'll start by going to our purchase order section, and we're going to go ahead and create a purchase order. Here you can enter your own purchase order ID, or you can use the system ID, which I'm going to do here. And we're going to start by inputting all of our order level information. So for us, that's going to include our supplier. We'll go ahead and put the screen printer that we imported as part of our import earlier. Our order date will leave for today, and for an estimated receive date, we'll say that's going to come in on Friday. Here we have our purchase destination. If you're a single destination, you won't need to worry about this too much, but we do also support multi-location operations. So if you do have multiple locations, you would select your destination here. Finally, we'll go down and add in all of our items. So we'll add each of our hats, our red hat, our blue hat, and our black hat. Go ahead and add some quantities in here. Let's say we're getting 12 of the blue and the red and 24 of the black. You can also see that our pricing information that we imported came in from that import earlier, and so that's auto-populating here. We do support multiple suppliers, so in addition to screen printer, we also put Texas Manufacturing as a supplier. Now we can see the prices adjust there as we change the supplier. Looks like TX Manufacturing is a little cheaper, so we'll go ahead and leave them on. Additionally, we can add discounts, fees, or any other charges. Here, let's go ahead and add a shipping charge. And we'll say this is going to be $100 to get these shipped to our warehouse. Now, what's great about the shipping charge is we can actually allocate that or any other discount or fee across to your items. So here, in my case, I'm using our subtotal and dividing this out based on each product share of the subtotal to get our total landed cost. So here, while it costs us $4.99 for each hat, we know it actually costs $7.07 roughly to actually get that into our warehouse. We can also allocate these out by each item's share of the total quantity, total weight, or total volume, however works best for your operations. At this point, we'll go ahead and change our status to committed. We can print off a copy of our purchase order. So you can see here, including our supplier product ID, so that supplier knows exactly what we're looking for there. And if we want to email that to our supplier instead, we have the option to email that directly from Finale as well. Let's take a look at how these are affecting our stock currently. So we'll go back to our view stock screen. And we can see now that that PO has populated within our quantity on order here. So we show that we have these on order, but not yet in our quantity on hand since they haven't been received. Additionally, as we click the plus sign next to each product, we see exactly what's going on to give us that order information. Here we're seeing that we have these products with an ETA of February 2nd on PO 110245 from TX Manufacturing. And we can click right back into that PO to make any adjustments or receiving transactions that we'd like. Finale does support partial receipts, so we could click into our purchase shipment and select partial receipts if we needed to. Or we can simply click the large blue button here to receive the whole purchase order all at once. So here we'll go ahead and select to receive this whole purchase order, and we'll get it received. Now, if we were going to bill this and sync it to QuickBooks, we could do that at this point as well. Or if we're not going to bill it out and not going to sync to QuickBooks, we can go ahead and change that status to completed. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our inventory one more time. Here we see that now that we've received that, we do see those quantities coming over into our quantity on hand. We also have our remaining section here, which shows what's available for customers to buy. That would typically be what we have on hand. minus any that are currently reserved for sales orders. What's important to take a look at here is now we do see that our hat bundle populate with a quantity of 12 in that remaining section, even though it has 0 in quantity on hand. It's doing this because we're taking the inventory of each component SKU, so one of each of the red, blue, and black hats, and determining the highest number that we can make of that kit. In this case, 12, based off our 12 units of the red and blue hats. Now, let's go ahead and bring in some sales orders and see how that affects it. I'm going to hop over to my ship station here, and I'm going to filter down to my current store. And we can see that we've got 2 orders here. Got one order for John Doe for a red hat, and one order for Jane Doe for a hat bundle. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and sync these into Finale. And we'll give that 1 second to bring these orders over. Great. Now that our orders have imported, we can see that we have sales orders across for each one of these. Now, as you remember, John Doe ordered a single red hat, so we see that order here. But Jane Doe ordered a hat bundle. So instead of seeing one reserved for the hat bundle, Finale has separated this out to one of each of our red, blue, and black hats. Additionally, we can see now our remaining quantity for the hat bundle has now dropped to 10 since the red hat is our lowest quantity component and we can only build 10. Let's take a look now at what happens when we ship these. So we're going to go back over to our ship station. We're going to go ahead and ship out these orders. And once again, we'll sync those into Finale. Now that both of our sales orders have shipped, we see that they are no longer in the reserve column and the products have been taken out of our physical quantity on hand since they have left the warehouse. We've got an average accounting of stock across all 4 of our items, including our bundle at the bottom. That sums it up for our primary purchasing and sales features within Finale. From here, you're always available to look further into these things through our powerful analytics screen, our customized reporting, or add on additional features such as our mobile barcode scanning. If you have any further questions or would like to schedule a demo to go over your specific workflow, please feel free to reach out to us at service@FinaleInventory.com.